Hi everyone, my name is Lexi Anand. I am a singer-songwriter from Naples, Florida. Now I'm currently based in Nashville, Tennessee as I attend Vanderbilt University. I found music initially through kinder music classes. So I was only a few months old, and ever since then I have been playing music and writing music ever since.
Nice to have you here today. How do artists like Alanis Morissette, Carole King, and Fleetwood Mac influence your songwriting sound?
When it comes to Alanis Morissette, I think she is an incredibly like she's normalized or she's made being super emotional in your songs acceptable in a way. And I'm a very emotional, sensitive person, and the way that I've always processed and dealt with my emotions is through writing, journaling, or writing music. And so that's definitely I definitely take inspiration from Alanis Morissette and her hyper emotionality that she infuses into all of her songs. I emulate that in my own process with writing music. And with Carole King, when it comes to Carole King, first and foremost, I am the biggest fan of her music. And when it comes to what I'm taking inspiration from, I'd say it's more so the way that she takes complex emotions and then she simplifies them into these very digestible, like hooky choruses. That's where I take inspiration from her.
On Carole King, what is your favorite song?
I really love You've Got a Friend with James Taylor, that
Mhm.
version, but I always do this song. There's this one song, gosh, why is it escaping me? But I love Natural Woman. I also love Aretha's version of it, but I think Carole King's version of it, you can hear the songwriter, you can hear the emotion that's held deep within it when she does her own version. But there's oh my gosh, I don't know why it's escaping me. It's off of Tapestry.
It's Too Late Now?
It's Too Late. That one I would do that in my like talent recitals in middle school and in high school, and I love like the way that the piano parts are with like the syncopation. I love it.
On the Tapestry album, I think I actually bought 10 copies of it, and I even got them
Oh
free for
wow.
working in radio. It's Too Late was one of my favorite records of all time. What's
Yeah.
the story behind your newest release, Say It, and what message do you hope listeners will take away from it?
Yeah, I think Say It is in a similar vein of like Carole King songs with there's this complex emotion and complex story behind it, but I really tried to distill it down into this like simple hook. And so it's about the complexity of the act of saying I love you and using that act of saying I love you as a lifeline and using just through saying I love you, is that enough to preserve a relationship? And kind of through the song and as the song progresses, there's this conclusion that it's not.
You're at Vanderbilt University right now, and
Yeah.
you're having a career as an artist and a songwriter. What are you studying at Vanderbilt?
So I'm majoring in essentially a business adjacent major. I'm also minoring in business there. And I take a lot of songwriting class. I maxed out the songwriting classes I could take at Vanderbilt that are offered. I take as many music classes that are applicable to my avenue in music. So I am studying business. That's like my formal like major and minor. Technically it's human and organizational development, but in essence. And so, yeah, I made that decision because I do so much outside of my academics musically that I thought that it would actually really complement what I'm doing musically, and my artist career and like my pursuit of the entire industry would be benefited from learning the business side of it all, or your business in general.
Can you walk us through your creative process when writing a song? Do the lyrics or melody come first?
This is my answer to this is definitely going to vary on the song because there's some times where like with my song Exit started with just the title Exit. I knew I wanted to write a song with that title. And so I sat down at my guitar and I started strumming a chord progression, and I found this hook, the main chorus of Exit. So that honestly started with lyrics with the title. But then there's instances like Say It started with the melody, and Summer Moment started with an idea a co writer had brought to the session that was really the hook of the song. So it honestly really varies, but I would say I'm definitely like I would say it's typically melody driven, the initial process of the song and creating it.
How do you maintain authenticity while still keeping your sound fresh and contemporary in pop music scene?
Yeah, I would say part of what makes a perspective original is through all the different music that a person is listening to, and it's like the fusion of all of everything that person's listening to, and then that kind of makes a perspective original. I also think like my originality is also found like within my experiences. My unique experiences create my own perspective, and that is what makes me original. I think I try to listen to all different types of music so that I'm always maximizing the opportunities to be inspired and to take inspiration from different ways of approaching the musical process. But then also, like, the way that I synthesize everything that I'm taking inspiration from is what makes my perspective original.
Fabulous. So, do you want to be on a major label or do you wish to stay independent and why?
The answer would be very circumstantial. Like, it depends on what's being presented. I think I'm not necessarily an artist that's, oh, I have to stay independent my entire life. Or I wouldn't say I'm an artist that's, I have to sign a major deal. Like, I think whatever will put my music in front of the most ears, but also make sense for my own artistic goals and will allow me to maintain my own, like, creative agency is what makes the most sense. And whether that is with the major or whether that is independent is dependent on what's happening.
How do you see your music evolving in the future and what new directions are excited to explore?
Yeah, I think that's like the most important thing for me is that no matter what, I just hope that I'm evolving, and I hope that myself as an artist is evolving. Personally, I'm evolving, and like the writer that I am, that's always in an evolving state. And as far as what direction that goes into or is headed towards, I would say right now, I don't want to dictate too much as far as what musical direction to take. I just want to like embrace ambiguity as far as what I want to create. Right now, I've been writing a lot of singer-songwriter like stuff that I've in the similar vein that all my recent singles have been in, and I've continued. And if I listen to a jazz song tomorrow and I'm really inspired by what that artist did, like maybe I'll pivot towards that. But I think right now I'm just like living fluidly and letting the process happen as however it happens.
If you could collaborate with anybody, who would it be?
If I could collaborate with anybody right now, I would say Andy Schaaf. He's a folk artist. He produces everything completely independently on his own, and he approaches his albums as chapter books. And I think his perspective is really unique, and I feel like he's very, very solidified and like in his perspective. And I would just love to be in a room with him and just learn from him. So I'd like to collaborate with Andy Schaaf.
As an independent artist, how do you do marketing for yourself?
Well, I think in 2024, marketing, maybe I'm misinformed when I say this, but I feel like marketing for all artists, whether they're independent or they're with a major, looks the same. And it's all happening on the phone on social media. My marketing campaigns, I worked with, or I'm working with Brime Partners, which is a boutique publisher. They also do artist development. And so they were incredibly helpful in laying out marketing campaigns. They presented many press opportunities. They helped me create content that I could post on TikTok and Instagram, shows. So I think that's what the marketing campaign looked like: a lot of social media, press, a lot of performances.
Have you been on the road doing any touring at all yet?
I haven't, but I would love to tour. That's definitely a goal of mine in the next 3 years or 2 to 3 years. Yeah, I think the touring is just challenging with schools, but I think because I do have the opportunity to be on a campus, I know so many artists like prioritize college marketing and in touring on college campuses. So since I'm 24/7 on a college campus, I really try to like play to the audience that I already have here on campus and within Nashville.
What advice would you give your younger self about starting over again?
I would tell my younger self to maintain my authenticity, and I feel like that's always being said to artists, and I know I was told that when I was a younger artist, and I feel like when I heard that, I listened passively, and then I would go to a studio and there would be someone who I thought knew more than me, or they had like more credentials. And so I conformed to whatever their opinion was, which not necessarily is wrong, but I feel like part of being an artist is you're an artist because you have your own perspective. That's what differentiates each artist. And I wish I had stayed true to my perspective and had the confidence to trust my gut and trust my own intuition.
Great. Where can people find you, Lexi, on social media?
So you can follow me on Instagram at Lexi Anand, AND music. You can find me on TikTok at Lexi Anand. You can find me on all the digital service platforms just at Lexi Anand.
Great.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you being here today, and it's great to meet you and see that beautiful smile of yours.
So nice to meet you. Thank you for having me on.